Donald Trump gave a couple speeches this week in Pennsylvania, and he went after U.S. trade policy. So, as per usual, he ripped NAFTA, he ripped the World Trade Organization, and then he went off on the TPP. And he caused a wee bit of controversy when he said this.
The Trans-Pacific Partnership is another disaster, done and pushed by special interests who want to rape our country, just a continuing rape of our country. That's what it is, too. It's a harsh word. It's a rape of our country.
So a lot of liberal outlets ran with this and used it to attack Trump. I mean, Huffington Post, for example, they had their header. So the main story on the page was Trump compares TPP or Trump compares trade deal to rape. I saw other outlets doing the same thing. And the idea that they were getting at is, oh, clutch your pearls. He said the word rape, and it wasn't to actually describe a literal rape. Therefore, I don't know, anger, outrage. And I have to say, man, this is exactly what I'm warning people against doing. Because if you try to run this kind of a campaign against Trump, he will destroy you. And just put it in perspective and call it what it is. I mean, oftentimes people on the right use the term political correctness to mask just being wrong about shit. But this is a clear example of just actual PC outrage. Like, you said the wrong word to describe something, therefore let's just pretend like there was nothing to the point you made. Except, this is an instance where Trump is 100% right in what he's getting at about the TPP. So, you could use this as a hook into a story about what's in the TPP that we know of from WikiLeaks and the provisions that have come out, and then you could discuss how bad it is and how progressives and liberals are right to be most against it, and how Donald Trump is now, mimicking a left-wing position because he feels like he'd get elected better. He has a better chance of getting elected if he takes this position. You could use this as a hook into a serious policy discussion about why the TPP is bad, why Bernie Sanders is right on the TPP, a warning to Hillary Clinton, hey, you need to stay left on this issue, because if you don't, then Trump can outflank you on your left and he could beat you. But instead of doing that, what did they do? They just did the classic, oh, you said the wrong word, I'm so angry. And it reminds me a lot of the ad that actually Republicans ran against Trump in the primary, where all it was a montage of him cursing. And they used it as, got him, oh, he's so crass and this is not okay. He's not a member of polite society. He's not a gentleman. Yeah, that only offends you. That only makes you angry. Normal people look at that and they go, where's the issue? It's an adult using adult words. Who gives a shit? It's not 1952 anymore. But that's the thing. When you misfire on your attacks on Trump, you're going to make him stronger. I mean, that's what it is. I'm not saying this because I'm on Team Trump. I fucking loathe Trump. I call him Terrorist Don because of the shit he says about the Geneva Conventions and killing civilians and torture. I'm not with him. I'm telling you this as a warning. Get serious in your attacks against him or he will become president of the United States. So instead of going, oh, he said rape and TPP will rape the country and I'm so offended by your language. Instead of doing that, what you could have done is, oh, actually, when you look at the provisions of TPP, he's right that it's a huge problem for the country and we shouldn't do any more of these bullshit free trade deals. Why? Look at the policy provisions. So if you were to pass TPP, as the entire establishment wants to do, the entire Republican establishment and most of the Democratic establishment, all the Democratic establishment, only the Progressive Caucus and some actual progressive Democrats are against it. But TPP would, yet again, make it so that the United States loses jobs. Every other trade deal that we've done to this point has made it so we lose jobs. This would be no different. So we lose jobs, you drive wages down, you exploit labor in countries with poor human rights records and labor records. For example, Malaysia tolerates slavery. They're in this deal, so apparently our corporations want to exploit that slave labor. On that alone, we should all be against it. Brunei is in this deal. They just implemented Sharia law. Why would you want to take decent paying jobs in America and ship them over to a country that officially has Sharia law, therefore making them richer, therefore giving them more power and entrenching that Sharia law and solidifying it. Another example here, we've spoken about this ad nauseum, but under TPP, corporations can sue for lost expected profits. So they can just say, hey, we think we were supposed to make X amount more, so now we want the governments to reimburse us. So just give us money. Okay, that's horrible. That's basically making it so that corporate welfare becomes, built into the system in a way it's never even been before. It's putting corporate hijacking into the deal as a matter of policy. Like, that's the norm. You can just have corporations rob governments. And then also there's the international tribunals where it makes it so that corporations and governments become on equal footing. They're equal legal entities. Now, that's crazy. The way it works is a corporation can function within a governmental structure, and obviously the governmental structure has authority over the corporations. That's why there's such thing as minimum wage laws and labor laws, child labor laws. Hey, you can't pollute this river, and they have to abide by the rules of the government. Well, under TPP, you can make it so that if there's a dispute, it goes to an international tribunal. The tribunal decides whether or not the government is right in passing said law and whether or not the corporation has to abide by it. So the corporation just says no, and they go to this tribunal. The tribunal could say, yeah, you don't have to abide by the rules of the government in the country that you're functioning in. That's fucking crazy. That really does set up like a new world order type scenario. And by the way, who's going to be largely responsible for picking the people that are on this international tribunal? The corporations. So when Trump says something like TPP is raping our country, it's fucking raping the world. He doesn't go far enough. So stop playing the PC outrage game of like, oh, I'm now going to defend the TPP because you said a word I don't like and I'm offended by and I'm uncomfortable with. Get the fuck over it. This is not what liberals and progressives are supposed to be about. I'm a liberal and I'm a progressive because we care about facts, we care about policy substance, we care about the issues. But if there's this, wing of the progressive movement that all they care about is, I'm going to press the outrage button and the offended button when you say the wrong word, well, then you're turning people off to being liberals and progressives because then they understand, oh, maybe you really don't care about the policy substance. Maybe as this guy attacks a trade deal which is disastrous, you'll just take the opposite position because you're just against him by definition. Just because he's Donald Trump doesn't mean he's literally wrong about everything. If Donald Trump likes pizza and eats pizza, does that mean that you have to dislike pizza? No, it can be good. Pizza can be delicious. Just because he's for it doesn't mean you have to be against it. And by the way, I don't even believe him when he says he's against the TPP because he said he's against all these different trade deals and he personally benefits from them. His ties are made in China, for example. So I don't believe him. He's a liar. But when he does the rhetoric against TPP, you know what? He's right. And when you, just to posture, go against him, you make yourself look like an idiot because you abandon your principles the second somebody you don't like happens to agree with you. That's the stupid shit that Republican politicians do. Like when Obama comes out and says, you know what, I agree with this right-wing policy, and the right-wingers go, yeah, well, now we disagree with it. They look like idiotic toddlers when they do that because they are that. And now you're doing the same thing. Oh, you said the word rape in the context of being against TPP. I guess I'm now for TPP. There you go. You have your answer, guys. What does it take to make a liberal or a progressive be in favor of TPP? Donald Trump doing rhetoric against it. That's apparently all it takes, and it's monumentally pathetic. And if you continue to go down this path, you're making him stronger and stronger and stronger, and you're running a risk of him winning.